This is the latest film from director Steve McQueen, who famously did 12 Years a Slave and Shame, and he's a fantastic filmmaker. Last year did a 4-hour kind of semi-documentary film about the occupation in the Netherlands during World War II. Blitz is also a World War II film. It is about the London Blitz, which was a period of about 8 months of Axis bombing of London, where they bombed nearly every night, bombing warehouses, manufacturing, that sort of thing. And the people of London just lived under this, which is kind of incredible to think about. In practice, the air raid sirens would go off. People would just grab whatever they could, maybe a suitcase, their kids, and then just head to the bombing shelters underground. Sometimes they were open, sometimes they weren't. So the movie kind of covers, it's like slice of life during this time. And we follow Saoirse Ronan's family. Her name is Rita. She lives with her father, and she has a mixed race son. And the movie touches on issues of misogyny and racism, but what happens in the movie is that they sent the children away, like to the countryside, to be safe from the bombing. She sends her son George, played by newcomer Elliot Heffernan, who's incredible. He puts the whole movie on his back. She puts him on a train to go out to the countryside. He gets about halfway there and then hops. He doesn't want to do it. He was angry about being sent away. Hops off the train, catches one back into London, and then it's an Odyssey like film for him to get back home. He's trying to navigate the streets and comes across different kinds of characters, some helpful, some not. Meanwhile, Saoirse Ronan she's working at a factory helping produce weapons, like a lot like Rosie the Riveter style person, and dealing with those kinds of things. And so the movie, again, it's slice of life of this, and it has these incredible sequences that are like Saving Private Ryan level war scenes, where like the bombing is happening and everyone's trying to escape and get away, and it's like anxiety inducing. I will say the narrative itself is a little weak. It's not very compelling. It is actually largely a kids film, because Saoirse Ronan is the supporting character. She's not the main character. It's about George, the younger kid, trying to get home. But the craft is incredible. You have scenes with like thousands of extras, all like flooding into the London subway to hide from the bombing, all with period appropriate clothing. So just from the filmmaking perspective, it's incredible. The script is probably one of the weaker things that Steve McQueen has done, but I really enjoyed it overall.
Well, yeah, I wanted to ask about the scale of it, because the last film we watched by McQueen on this show was 2018's Widows, which is solid, and nobody I know in my life has seen. Everybody's like, what's Widows? Oh, yeah, I think I saw a trailer. But like, nobody remembers Widows, and it's a shame, because it's good. Great Daniel Kaluuya in that movie. Great, yeah. Anyway, I want to ask about the scale of it. Like, since we haven't watched a McQueen movie in 6 years on this show, most of his previous work is pretty small. Not low budget, but like small scale, right? He's not doing like national World War projects or anything. He's not swinging for any like giant stadiums. But Blitz looks like a bit different, right? Like it's an intimate story, but like one part maybe Home Alone, and you know, like Kevin's run away and Catherine O'Hara's got to go find him before the movie's over. But also like, you know, something sincere and something I didn't know a lot about, despite the films I've seen about this period in history. Nobody mentioned that London was getting bombed for 8 months every single night. That sounds wild and crazy. So as far as those sequences go in the movie, heart pounding, over fast, I mean, long, short, like what are we looking at?
It's harrowing.
London's getting bombed?
There are several sequences, you know, because the bombing was constant. I was reading that at one point, London was bombed 56 days out of 60 in whenever it was, 1944 or so, 2 months straight, nearly every night. And people just, you know, they kept on living their lives. I remember reading a real interesting thing that you either got killed in the bombing or you didn't, and very few people actually survived any type of bombing. If you got bombed, you were just gone. And so it actually kind of helped to not have that much panic, because most people did completely survive, or you didn't. There was no in between. But the sequences are, like I said, it's heart pounding. Reminds me of things from like Dunkirk, Titanic. Even there's a flood. There's a section where there's thousands of people in one of these London subways, and like the walls break and it starts to flood, and everyone's trying to get out, and it's just like heart pounding.
Yeah.
And there's also there's sequences where they're exploring bombed out buildings that have real shaky infrastructure because of things have been bombed out, but there's valuable things they need, or there's people trying to rob the place. So it's probably the biggest film that he's made scale wise, because like I said, there's places where there's hundreds of extras, all in period clothing and luggage and having to coordinate. So yeah, it's definitely incredible. And like you said, Saoirse Ronan also has a big part, as she discovers about halfway through the movie that her kid is missing, that they've lost him and doesn't know where she is. So then she's going on a journey as well to find him. She pairs up with Harris Dickinson, shows up briefly as a British soldier to help her kind of look for her son. She also does some singing in this. She sings as part of the movie. She sings a song, which is, and I've heard there might be some Oscar talk for that. But yeah, there's a lot going on. The two stories don't really, like, it doesn't really pull at your heartstrings the way I think it's trying to. But you can't ignore the craft of it.
Well, yeah, that actually leads me perfectly into my next question. I want to ask about Saoirse Ronan. I don't think I've ever seen her play a mom. And more importantly, I wanted to know what is she doing in this performance that is getting Oscar buzz? Because like I don't know anybody in my life that's talking about Blitz from Steve McQueen on Apple TV Plus. Like, you're the only person I know that even caught a theatrical screening. What's where's the fairy dust? What's the magic?
Again, she's a mom grieving who's trying to find her son. She has lost her husband essentially to racism. Her husband gets deported, and so he's just not around, and she has a mixed race son who deals with a lot of direct racism. And again, the women she worked with, they're all working hard to get better working conditions, better pay. They're staging their own protests of sorts, but while also trying to be inspirational to the war effort. Yeah, I mean, just a lot of real emotional scenes that she has to carry on her back.
Let's talk about George, played by Elliot Heffernan, right? The son. You said he is fantastic. It is rare, I think, that we see a child actor or actress like put on a performance that holds attention so well, because it's hard, dude, for kids to act. Like, kids don't really know how to act. They can act like themselves, but like they don't have methodology.
Yeah.
And they haven't been doing it for decades.
He's not
they got
doing
pressure from their
Shakespeare.
parents just off camera, right? Yeah. So is there a gimmick? Is he like a quiet kid half the movie, or is he thoughtful, or is he doing big speeches? I mean, like, how's the kid at the center of this thing?
It's more of a physical role where he just has to. I mean, again, it is his story, not Saoirse Ronan's. He's the main character, and he's working his way back. So he has to do a lot of very physical acting, because it's a lot of running, a lot of going from place to place, interacting with a lot of different characters, trying to find his mom, trying to avoid bad people, try to get the things he needs. So I mean, he gets tons of screen time in this, and I think he's really great. And it's a ton to put on a kid that young.
Yeah, absolutely. Apple TV Plus joint. Is this one of these movies where like with Scorsese and Killers of the Flower Moon, or Matthew Vaughn and Argyle, like Apple just gave like $150 million to Steve McQueen and said, make what you want? Like, what do you know about the production behind this?
Not not much. It's definitely an expensive movie because of the period piece element and the number of extras. I'm like, oh, this is getting up there. But it's definitely, this is made as an awards contender for sure. And we'll know the Oscars are then they get announced in January, so it's just a couple of months. We'll see how the campaigns do. Saoirse Ronan's also gonna be up for best lead actress from The Outrun, which we haven't watched on the show, but I've heard is really good as well. She is the main actress in that film. So yeah, I don't know much about the production though.
Yeah, that's all right. I was going to say, what haven't I asked you? Any other thoughts or recommendations? Because I haven't seen it, but I want to make sure you get out. I mean, anything else you got?
There's a good cast of supporting characters. Like I said, Harris Dickinson, Benjamin Clementine, Kathy Burke, Paul Weller, the great Stephen Graham shows up. So you have George, the child character, running into a cast of characters, and that's the whole point, is to show the different lives of people who were live through this, the rich, the poor, the people in the middle, the soldiers, the people running shelters, the people trying to rob and take advantage of this situation, all under constant bombing, which is insane to think about. Like, we've never had to worry about that kind of thing in America because of geography, and that sort of thing could never really happen now, but it's amazing to think that people did live
I
through
know.
something like that.
As soon as I said early in this review that, like, I didn't know the London got bombed for 8 months, I was like, somebody's going to get on the comments and be like, you didn't know? Haven't you ever? No, dude, I'm in America. I didn't know that. Sorry. Like, I'm sure that's a big deal. It sounds like a big deal in Steve McQueen's
We don't
Blitz.
have
I'm
that
gonna
problem
have to check
here.
it out.
No
Tragically,
one
no.
bumps
Yeah, we got oceans on both sides. Like, what are you going to do? Anyway, I should get out of global politics. That's not for me to say. I should ask you, though, Andy, would you recommend Blitz?
Yeah, it's a great it's a great film, incredibly harrowing, good performance from our leads. It's one of these kind of safe, take your family to. Like, it's got intense scenes, but it's nothing, like, it's not super graphic or violent. It's PG-13, so take the family. It is real inspiring. It's got a little bit something for everyone. Again, the scale of it and the craft, the filmmaking craft is really incredible. So I think that's probably not even in theaters anymore, but be sure to catch that on streaming when you can.
Yeah. I don't have Apple TV Plus currently, but I'm going to re-up in December for the new seasons of Severance, so I can rewatch season 1. So then I'll check out that and Killers of the Flower Moon, which I still can't buy a Blu-ray for, which is super lame, and I'm still upset about every time I think about it. With that, we should wrap up the show. Andy, my God, what a week at the movies. You've watched like 6 things. I've watched like 2. What are we watching next week?
It's a Barbenheimer style weekend with 2 huge movies, most anticipated of the year: Gladiator 2 and Wicked, both coming out this Friday. Get your tickets, see it. It's supposed to be huge. Like I said before, Wicked, $100 million opening weekend, Gladiator, like 80 million, something like that. They're both going to be really big. And then upcoming next week, as we enter the Thanksgiving holiday week, Moana 2 comes out next Wednesday. Remember, it releases a little bit early, so we can really catch that 5-6 day holiday weekend. And then also coming out next week, Maria, which is the Maria Callas biopic on Netflix, Luca Guadagnino's Queer, and September 5th, which we haven't really talked too much about. This is a movie about the 1972 Munich Olympics when the Israeli athletes were taken hostage. Steven Spielberg made a movie called Munich about that same thing. This is told from a different perspective of the newsroom that kind of was capturing all this, and it's this thing, well, we're the sports team, but we're like 100 yards from where this is happening, so this is our story now, and it's about the kind of the ethics of what do you do when there could be a possible terrorist attack live on TV. I heard a lot of great things, but haven't really seen too much promotion about this. But that's September 5th. But next week, Gladiator 2 and Wicked.
I should be a lot more excited for Thanksgiving week 2024. I should be stoked, right? Like, we got some bangers coming up, big budget pictures. Gladiator 2 from Ridley Scott, Sword and Sandal, he does it best. Wicked, big musical. Warner Brothers putting it out. Moana, Disney's got an animated feature coming out, and then I get to look forward to indie banger Luca Guadagnino putting out Queer. It's gonna be great with Daniel Craig. Dude, I'm so upset by the run times by these movies. I can't get over it, and there's nothing I can do. It is what it is.
6 hours at the theater.
Why are Gladiator and Wicked both 3 hours long? 2 hours 40? Are you kidding me? Like, in this day and age? Whatever. It's fine. Anyway, if you want to hear our reviews of Gladiator and Wicked coming up just next week, easiest way to do that is to hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to Off Script from you to get new episodes delivered straight to you, straight to your phone. If you hit the notification bell, if you're on YouTube, it'll come to you even faster. Be direct. The second we upload it, you get it. You can be one of the first to get in and hear what we think. Or you can let us know what you thought of the show in the comments below that YouTube video or below the Facebook post. We're on all the social media places: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We're over on YouTube where big things are happening with the show. Please come check us out on YouTube. Please come check us out on YouTube. I would love for you to be over there. All our audio fans know where we're at: Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, of course, iHeartMedia. You can check out our website, offscriptfilmreview.com, and you can leave us correspondence direct email. All right. The OG, right after print though, at mail@offscriptfilmreview.com. I think that covers it. My God, episode 273 done and gone behind us. Heretic's a good time. Y'all should check out Heretic and Amelia Perez and Blitz. It's good. It's a good show. It's a good show all around. With that, we should wrap it up. That's Offscript Film Review, the home of bold cinema. I'm Zach Lewis.
And I'm Dr. Draper.
Thanks for watching.